Hello everyone, today is Monday, June 5th, 2023, and we all know what that means. Wwdc Day! So today Apple will be unveiling iOS 17, iPadOS 17, even though it's basically the same as iOS. I don't know why they even bothered giving it a whole separate name. macOS, tvOS, a watchOS 10, and if the rumors are true, the new Reality Pro headset software, whatever they're going to call it. But just keep in mind, these are rumors, these are not confirmed. So let's just get on with the video. Let's start with the small stuff. Apple has been rumored to be developing this journaling app. It will let you record your feelings, activities, thoughts, and prayers. The app will also be able to access your location data so it can tell whether you're at home a lot, working a lot, hanging out with your friends, or how maybe even with the data from the health app, know your exercise and how much you're exercising, if you're doing enough, etc. This data, plus the entries that you'll be putting into the app, will help track your mood and hopefully help with your mental health. In last minute rumors, it has been reported that Apple is going to drop the Hey Siri command to just simply Siri, which I think I've had for the last couple of years since my 2015 iPhone 6S, because it happened to me so many times where I just go Siri and Siri activates on my phone. And similarly to Alexa, you'll just be able to say Siri and Siri will be summoned. There hasn't been any sign of Apple getting anything like ChatGPT or anything involved with Siri to help boost her IQ a bit for the quite non-existent digital assistants battle that's been going on for years. I say non-existent because nobody really uses a digital assistant that much anyways. At least not in public anyways. There's been no rumors or signs of Apple using anything like generative AI to help Siri get better at AI and stuff, especially since we kind of need it for the headset. So hopefully they do something, because if you use the current form of Siri for the headset, oh god, that thing is going to flop. It will flop bad. They already can't make a lot of them and can't sell a lot of them. So if Siri is going to be the main way of interacting and it's still the way it is now, okay, that thing's going to flop bad. But on a more positive note, you can make custom commands for Siri. So in a way, she kind of is on par, or maybe even slightly ahead of Google or Alexa in terms of that. You can just make your own custom commands. Now, unless you can do that with them as well, I don't know, because I don't use them too often. But you can make your own custom Siri commands. So Control Center is supposedly getting a revamp, a redesign, and how it looks and all that. I don't know what they could do. There's not really much. I don't mind the way it is. If they make it look better, cool. One of the rumored things is that they'll make the torch slider an actual slider instead of steps. You know what I mean? When you go into it, it looks like rectangles for each step for how bright the light is. Instead, they think they're just going to make it one smooth slider, like the volume and brightness of sliders in the control center. Cool. Didn't really need to report on that, but of course, one of the biggest rumors being side loading. Now, this isn't as much of a rumor as more region restricted and a little bit more confirmed by the EU. The EU has been trying to force Apple into allowing side loading on iOS, which I myself am on the fence about that. I'm not going to get into that because this is a rumor video. That is a whole other video for the future. But I myself am on the fence about it. And well, it sounds like in Europe anyways, it's going to be a new feature, and that is a big feature. It will allow you to download third-party app stores and download apps from the internet, whether it's through the laptop or directly on the phone, without having to use Apple's App Store. So that is a big feature that is most likely going to be added to European iOS. But another feature that was actually announced last year, and it wasn't a feature, it was a big redesign, is CarPlay 2. They announced CarPlay 2 last year in WWDC 2022 and said it wouldn't be available until the end of 2023. So we still have a few more months to go But because of that, I keep forgetting it exists. I remember how it looks from last year and it looks amazing, but I just keep forgetting that it exists. They need to release that ASAP. Because of that, I think we will probably hopefully get some updates on that. Another little feature would be the wallet app. Now, they're saying third-party credit cards being able to be added to wallet app, which I think it already happened, so I must have heard that wrong. But the other part of that was that you'll be able to manage the cards in the wallet app rather than having to use your bank app or having to use the internet. You can manage your credit cards in the bank app, look at your balance, see your account details, etc. Which I would like. Actually, there's one feature that my specific bank does, and maybe others do as well, but I don't know, I only use one bank. That my bank does, it's called Quick Balance. Basically, it's just a little green button. When you launch the app, it's a little green button. You just hold it and it shows you the balance, like just the balance, that's all. How much is in your account, and when you let go, it goes away. So that's just a little quick way of seeing like how much you've left in your account, which I quite like, which would be nice for it to be added to the wallet app if all that gets integrated into the wallet app. WatchOS 10 is also rumored to be getting a redesign. Mainly the fact that when you hit the crown, instead of going back to a home screen with a layout of a grid of apps the way it does now, it will just be, when you click the crown, it will just be going back to a like widgets, like cards widgets, the way they do on iOS, which I am not totally sure about how I feel about that. I think as of right now, what I'm picturing it, what it looks like on the small like little watch screen, I think I would prefer to keep about the grid layout of the watch. I think it looks really good already the way that is. And to be honest, having to go around, people complaining about having to do this and go around on it is stupid. I think the grid is perfect. I would like it to just stay like that, or at least have the option to keep it, because I prefer that so much to what I'm hearing with Siri. Now we'll see what Apple actually comes up with and see if I like it, but right now, as of right now, I prefer the grid. What's also rumored to be coming to WatchOS 10 is better optimization for the bigger watch. Since last year Apple released the Apple Watch Ultra with the biggest screen on the watch ever, apparently there's been little optimizations that need to happen, which I'm surprised they wouldn't have done over the last few months since it released, but okay, for bigger screens. According to me, there mightn't be a Mac October event this year because they've been rumored to be announcing some new hardware at this event today. The first one being the Mac Studio. So the Mac Studio, first of all, you're able to trade it in for the first time a week or so ago, so just before the event today, which it was a sign of, oh, they must be updating it if you're going to be able to trade it in. And then today or last night, we just got the rumored that the Mac Studio will most likely be updated today with the new M2 Max chipset and the M2 Ultra chipset, which will be getting an upgrade from 20 CPU cores to 24 CPU cores and 64 GPU cores to 70 GPU cores respectively, which sounds like a nice little bump. Probably a lot more powerful what's in this guy here. Alongside the updated Mac Studios, Apple is rumored to be unveiling a 15-inch MacBook Air, which people have been asking for ever since the launch of the M1 MacBook Air in 2020. Now, this will probably result in a price increase because, well, it's a bigger device and it's going to be sitting in a weird place of between the Pros and the Air, because it's going to be quite expensive. But then again, you could say you're comparing it to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is one I have here. And that's going to be a cheaper version of that, but still going to be more expensive than the 13-inch MacBook Air or 14-inch MacBook Air. It's going to be a very expensive Air. The most expensive the Air has been in a while. But for people that want the bigger screen on an Air device, that doesn't want the power of the Pros, doesn't want to pay the price of the Pros, because it's still, even though it's going to be more expensive, it'll still be cheaper than a Pro, unless you go second-hand M1 Pros. Other than that, the 15-inch MacBook Air will be a nice laptop for those people. And if all this is being announced at Wwdc, what's going to be left for a Mac event in October? Because they usually have a Mac event in October every other year. And they're not just going to announce MacBook Pro refreshes and a Mac Pro. That's not a lot for an event. Unless they leave an iPad update for the event. But what are they going to do to the iPad hardware wise? Add another USB-C port maybe? Like, there's not much they can really do hardware wise. iPad software, iPad OS, hasn't had much rumors really. Not that I can remember. They already announced Final Cut and Logic for iPad. So that won't be announced in WWDC. I can't really think. I have ideas of stuff that I'd want, but this isn't that kind of a video. This is just about rumors. And I haven't seen any rumors of new features for iPad. So, same with Mac. There's not really many new features you could do with it, but there is one feature that I would like them to add, and this gets really, really irritating. Notifications on macOS are so annoying. I open my laptop. 3 notifications are always sitting in the corner of the screen, the top right hand corner of the screen. It is so annoying. I always have to move them out of the way, and after like an hour or less even, they come back and you have to move them out of the way. Yeah, you have to do it like 10 times. It's really fucking annoying. Why do they have it like that? If I swipe them out of the way, keep them out of the way. That's the way it should be. Unless it's a new notification. And they're not new notifications, I know, because they're the exact same notifications just coming back every time. It's really irritating when you're watching something and it's blocking that portion of the screen, or editing, or in this case I was typing up the script for this today and it was in the way and I constantly had to move it out of the way. Like, why the hell do those notifications keep hovering around in the right corner of the screen? The notification center is hidden. They should only come back when you swipe them back. It's really irritating. They always hang around and it always bugs the hell out of me. As you can hear in my voice. It always annoys me. Anyway, that's one thing I'd like them to fix. Last but not least, the actual headset itself. This headset has been talked about since 2017. In 2020 and 2021, John Prosser kept saying, it's coming this year. I know it is, and it didn't come. And finally, it actually might be coming. 6 years later, about 3 years after Prosser said, 6 years since we started talking about it, it's finally, hopefully, probably, maybe, we're still at that point, coming today. We'll see. The rumored price being $3,000, it's not really consumer friendly quite yet in terms of price anyway, and they're apparently even losing money at that price, so yeah, they're only going to be producing less than little over 900,000 of them for the whole year, which is a very, very little for Apple. For the phone example, they'd have 10 to 20 million ready for launch day. Then they're saying about the first half of the year of selling it, they're only expecting about 500,000 or less. That is very, very little. So the rumored specs of this device is supposed to be made out of carbon fiber to be lightweight, glass around the front so they can hide the cameras, they're calibrating them, painting the glass and doing all that, and so they can hide the cameras and sensors for like looks, obviously, so looks good, looks pretty to Apple's standard of pretty. Then it's going to be getting the M2 chip with 16 gigs of RAM, which points towards gaming and editing. It shall have a built-in speakers and will also let you connect your AirPods. I'm assuming both the headphones and the earphones. So if you want a more submersive experience, you connect your AirPods and it'll make it more submersive, better. And they will magnetically attach to the device. You slide them in and magnetically attaches to the headset. That's the rumors anyway. And there is a good chance that these prescription lenses will cost a pretty penny. Not just because they're coming from Apple, but on top of that, on top of it being Apple, prescription glasses, the lenses for glasses, just regular old glasses, dumb glasses, as you want to call them, like the dumb phones. Anyways, those prescription lenses already costs hundreds. So I could not imagine how much it's going to cost from Apple to get these custom lenses for the headset. And then it's going to support two 4K screens, one for each eye, and they are going to be 5,000 nits each. Now, don't worry about that too much, since it's going to be going through all those lenses that are going to be between your eye and the screen. So by the time it actually reaches your eye, it won't be 5,000 nits. It just needs to be 5,000 nits to be able to get the regular brightness through all those lenses. So don't worry about that. Hopefully. Apparently it's going to be as thin as an iPhone, which is crazy, considering how big headsets are right now. But it's also kind of not crazy when you consider the fact that it's been rumored that the battery is going to be strapped onto your waist. So that does make a lot of sense. And the fact that because the battery is down there, it's going to be half the weight of other headsets in the market. So for example, 150 to 200 grams compared to 400 plus grams. So it'd be nicer to wear because it's lighter. It's going to be made of carbon fiber. That's also going to make it lighter. Now, in terms of the UI, it's going to be similar to the iPad apparently, which I don't know. That kind of does make sense for the headset, but also kind of doesn't. I honestly don't know. But apparently it's going to be similar to the iPad's UI. And because of that, it will be able to run iPad apps, which means there'll be a load of apps it'll be able to use on day one. And hopefully there'll be a load of apps it'll be able to port over very easily because of that. So when it launches on day one, it will have a lot of apps ready to download and to use. The first new disappointing leak is that the headset may not be available outside of the US. That makes sense since they do not plan on making more than a little over 900,000 a year, which is very, very little for Apple considering they make 10 to 20 million iPhones just for launch day. So that is very little. So it makes sense that it'd be limited to just the US, but also disappointing, but also still makes sense. Unlike Mac products in the past, it most likely will only be unveiled today and not launched, which means that we will see it, they will demo it, they'll tell us about it, explain it, how it works, etc. But we will not get any prices or anything to do with the launch or a launch date or anything until later this year, most likely. Or the rumors are pointing to even next year, early next year. That's how far back they might push it. We'll just get a vague date, like end of 2023 or autumn of 2023 or spring of 2024, something like that. It'll just be a vague date like that, so it'll be unveiled today, if it even is unveiled, and launched later this year or early next year. The rumoured use cases that Apple has been developing for this and focusing more so on has been gaming, which I'm looking forward to, FaceTime, and editing, hopefully video and photo editing. These use cases, I would use them. I would use the FaceTime, I would use the gaming, I would use the editing. These are all use cases I would use, and I would love to try them out. My sister has a Quest 2. I haven't tried it, but I would love to try out a headset, especially now that Apple's focusing on these things. Oh, I'd love to try those things out on Apple's headset. They sound really good. They sound really good and really enjoyable, and I'm getting excited for this headset now. So that is all of the rumors for today's event, WWDC 2023. We will see later on today whether these rumors are true or whether some of these rumors are not true. So what are you looking forward to for WWDC today? What do you want, and are you excited for the mixed reality Apple headset? Let me know down below in the comments, and don't forget to give me a follow on my socials. They'll be up here on the screen. They'll be also down below. And take a listen to our podcast with my friend Connor. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to do a pre-WWDC podcast, but hopefully maybe I'll do a solo podcast tomorrow recapping the event. Or maybe if one of our other friends want to do it with me, that'll be cool too. Either way, there'll be hopefully a podcast recorded tomorrow recapping the event. You can take a look at that down below. The links for that are also down below. Thanks for watching. Ciao tutti. Bye everyone.